Hey guys, and welcome to another edition of the Most Motion Show. I'm your host Sarah Pitts, and it's my aim to eliminate sporting injury across the world. So today's show we're going to look at how to save time and effort with your mobility. So I have lots of questions coming in, and a couple of those we're going to answer today, and then I'm going to show you a movement that you can do to help with the situation. So Jason wants to know, Jason was commenting to me the other day that he can't seem to get through all of his mobility in the time that he has available. So his question to me is, what do I do? And for me, if you're going to do these things effectively, then the best thing to do is focus on one area of the body at once. So if you've got 15 minutes and you want to, if you're putting the pressure on yourself to do all of your mobility in the whole of your body all at once, then it just boils down to a couple of seconds on each side, which really doesn't end up being that effective. So if you want to get much more out of your mobility, it's much more effective to spend 15 minutes on that one place. So if you choose hips, for example, you just spend a few minutes on one side and then a few minutes on the other. You get a lot more progress out of those 15 minutes, and then next time you have the 15 minutes, you can change the body part that you're working on. So let's say, for example, you were going out for a run, then you might want to do ankles and knees in those 15 minutes, maybe hips the next time you go. So just alternate it through, and that way you'll get much more progress much more quickly. And the second thing is, Anne wants to know if there's a specific order in which you get the most effectiveness out of your mobility. And the answer for me is yes. And there's reasons for that. The first thing is that everything impacts everything else. So for me, the best place to start is always your spine. Now, it could be the bottom end of your spine, it could be the middle of your spine, it could be the top of your spine. It's up to you. But your spine is where all your nerves travel through. So let's say, for example, that you're sitting at a desk all day, you've got slightly rounded shoulders. It means the top of your neck up here is going to get very, very tight. And that's going to compress your nerves that travel all the way down your spine, all the way down to your toes. So simply just by sitting with your head slightly tilted backwards or forwards, like chin jutting out, that kind of thing, can really impact how tight your legs are. And people seem to complain the most about leg tightness. So I'm going to show you a move in a second to help to get rid of that you can just do sitting at your desk. It's very, very simple. So the first place I would focus on is your spine. The second place I'd focus on is your adductors, so the inside of your thighs. And the way I was taught to remember it is that adductors add your knees together, abductors take your knees away. So they tend to roll your leg bones inwards and make your hamstrings very tight, IT bands very sore, that kind of thing. So I'd focus on those next, and hip flexors third, because hip flexors are what causes your hamstrings to be pulled into a longer position, and those combined with the rolling in of the adductors tightness creates lots and lots of problems in your lower leg. So even if you didn't do anything else, just those three would be massively helpful in terms of what the loosening effect that you can create in your body. So next I would work on knees, then ankles, and then shoulders last of all, because shoulders tend not to be too much of an issue. It's usually somewhere else that's causing the tightness through your shoulders, and by the time you get to your shoulders, then you're going to have much more impact. So those are my big six, and I would focus on working on those rather than the symptom, just because then you're going to get the most bang for your buck in terms of results and time spent. Okay, so getting to the movement is very, very simple, and one of the easiest ways to do this is to sit in front of a desk, put your hand under your chin, put your elbow on the desk so your elbow doesn't move, and then you can move your head around. Okay, so what we're going to do is work on the side of the neck here, because when this gets tight, the gap between your skull and your spine gets smaller, and then all the nerves get compressed, which triggers muscle tightness. So if you just tilt your head to one side, I'll do it without my hand to start with, and then I'll show you how to do it with a little bit more traction, which could mean that it's a bit more effective for you, okay? So we're just going to tilt the head to one side. We're going to feel the length through here, okay? Feel a bit of a stretch. And then I'm just going to nod my head very gently. Okay, so we're looking at unwinding the tension through the side of the neck here. But it can be everywhere. It can be right up under your jaw. It can be right behind your ear. It can be all sorts of places. So just as usual, we're going to go through front to back, side to side, and rotate round. In this case, front to back is just nodding your head up and down. Okay, so then I'm just going to try and push the side of my jaw towards the wall and try and come back again. Okay, these movements are very, very small, but the impact that it will have on your neck and your headaches and your dry eyes and your concentration and all those sorts of things will really help, okay? So then all I'm going to do is shake my head no. So I'm going to look to the ceiling and then look back down to the floor. So I'm keeping my head in a tilted position. I'm just going to keep that head tilted over as I rotate. Now notice that my shoulder is not following, okay? Most of the time when people try and do this, they can't turn the head far enough. So then the shoulder starts to follow like this, and then they can move the whole body to try and compensate for that. And that's not actually that useful. So keep your shoulder down. If it helps, just sit on your hand. That's one way of keeping your shoulder down in a really simple way. Okay, so I'm going to let you do the other side, but I'm going to show you how to do this with your hand underneath your chin, okay? So I'm going to use the flat of my hand. I don't want to be grabbing onto my chin or holding my face or anything like that, okay? I'm just going to use the palm of my hand to keep my jaw up in the air, okay? So I'm just a very slight push with my hand into my jaw, which creates a little bit more traction and a bit more space through here, okay? So it will intensify the stretch. So if it's not a comfortable position for you, then don't do it with your hand, okay? Comfortably uncomfortable as a maximum, please. And then we just go through that same motion again, and you'll find that you can't really move your head quite as much, but that traction is very, very useful, okay? Very small movements, again, just using the palm of my hand. My thumb is curling round my jawline, and then just side to side. Very simple, very gentle, but massively effective, especially when you keep your shoulder down, okay? So again, just keeping that traction. Yes, my hand is following, but I'm still keeping my hand up in the air to create that traction as I move my head, okay? And this, you will feel this right up into the back of your head up here. You might be able to feel it all the way down into the chest down here too. Okay, it's just a very, very simple, very quick way for you to help release the tension through your neck and therefore the tension in your feet and all the way through your body in between. So if you've got any questions, make sure you get them to me, sarah@mostmotion.com. You can comment on this video, and if you want to join me live next time, then you can do that at smartfolks.com. That's smart with 2 T's, folks.com. And as always, you can get more movements, more simple tips and tricks through your free mostmotion account, which you can get by clicking the link in the description. So again, thanks for watching, and I'll see you again next time.